Vandeham Shiguro Shiyata Parakamalam Shigurun Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitamscha Om Agyanatimmanandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Nama Gaurva Bhistam Supurakam Guruganana Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shirupa Patanugam Govindam Vidam Ujwalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Premnoi Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandabaranam Balarka Chelan Shitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Manchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. This is with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila, chapter 8, talks between the Lord and Srila Ramananda Raya. This is text number 242. Eta bole duhe nija nija karya gila, sandhya kale rai puna asya milila. In this way, Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya departed to perform their respective duties. Then in the evening, Ramananda Raya returned to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyonye miliduhe nibrite basya prashnotara goshtikohe ananditahaya. Thus they met time and time again, sitting in a secluded place and jubilantly discussing devotional service by the question and answer process. Prabhu Puche Ramananda Korana Utar Emata Se Ratre Kata Paraspar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the questions and Sri Ramananda Raya gave the answers. In this way they were engaged in discussion throughout the night. Prabhu ko he kon vidya madhya sar, Raya ko he Krishna Bhakti, Mina vidya nahiyar. On one occasion the Lord inquired, of all types of education, which is the most important? Ramananda Raya replied, no education is important other than the transcendental devotional service of Krishna. Kirtigan madhye jiver kon bora kirti, Krishna bhakta boliya jahar hoy kyati. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Ramananda Raya, out of all glorious activities, which is the most glorious? Ramananda Raya replied, the person who is reputed to be a devotee of Lord Krishna enjoys the utmost fame and glory. Sampatir madhye jiver kon sampati gani, Radha Krishna prema jara se boradani. Mahaprabhu asked, of the many capitalists or rich persons who possess great riches, who is the topmost? Ramananda Raya replied, he who is richest in love for Radha and Krishna is the greatest capitalist. Dukkha madhye kon, dukkha hoy gurutar, Krishna bhakta, viraha bina, dukkha nahi deki par. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of all kinds of distress, what is the most painful? What is the greatest distress or pain? Sri Ramananda Raya replied, apart from separation from the devotees of Krishna, I know of no unbearable unhappiness. Mukha Madhye Kon Jiva Mukta Korimani Krishna Prema Jarase Mukta Shiromani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired, out of all liberated persons, who should be accepted as the greatest? Ramananda Roy replied, he who has love for Krishna has attained the topmost liberation. Gana Madhye Kon Gana Jiva Nija Dharma Radha Krishna Prema Geli Radha Krishna Prema Keli Jai Gitara Marma Gana Madhye Kon Gana Jivara Nidya Dharma Radha Krishna Prema Keli Say Gitara Marma. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next asked Ramananda Roy, among many songs, which song is to be considered the actual religion of the living entity? Ramananda Roy replied, the song describing the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna is superior to all other songs. Shreyo Madhye Kon Shreya Jiver Hoysar Krishna Bhakta Sangabina Shreya Nahyar. Then Mahaprabhu asked, out of all auspicious and beneficial activities, which is best for the living entity? Ramananda Roy replied, the only auspicious activity is association with the devotees of Krishna. Kahara Smarana Jiva Koribe Anukan Krishna Nama Guna Lila Pradana Smaran. Mahaprabhu asked, what should all living entities constantly remember? Ramananda Roy replied, the chief objects of remembrance are always the Lord's holy name, qualities, and pastimes. Namaguna Lila. Krishna Namaguna Lila. The chief objects of remembrance are always the holy name, qualities, and pastimes. Jaya Madhya Jiva Kartavya Kondyan Radha Krishna Parambuja Jnana Pradhan. Mahaprabhu further inquired, out of many types of meditation, which is required for all living entities? Ramananda Roy replied, the chief duty of every living entity is to meditate upon the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Sarvatyaji Jiver Kartavya Kahan Bas Brajabhumi Brindavana Jahan Lila Ras. Mahaprabhu asked, where should the living entity live, abandoning all other places? Ramananda Roy replied, he should live in the holy place known as Vrindavan or Brajabhumi, where the Lord performed his rasa dance. Shravana Madhye Jiver Kon Shrestha Shravan Radha Krishna Prema Keli Karna Rasayan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, out of all topics people listen to, which is best for all living entities? Ramananda Roy replied, hearing about the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna is most pleasing to the ear. Apasyara Madhye Kon Upasya Pradhan Shrestha Upaya Jugala Radha Krishna Nam. Mahaprabhu asked, among all worshipable objects, which is the chief? Ramananda Roy replied, the chief worshipable object is the holy name of Radha and Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra. Mukti Bhukti Bansheje Kahandu Haragati Stavra Deha Deva Deho Jaicha Avastiti. And what is the destination of those who desire liberation and those who desire sense gratification? Mahaprabhu asked. Ramananda Roy replied, those who attempt to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord will have to accept bodies like those of trees, and those who are overly inclined towards sense gratification will attain the bodies of demigods. Arasagya kakachushe jnananimba phale rasagya kokila kaya premamra muke. Ramananda Roy continued, those who are devoid of all transcendental mellows or arasagya, those who have no knowledge of rasa, are like the crows that suck the juice from the bitter fruits of the neem trees of knowledge, whereas those who enjoy mellows or rasas with the Lord are like the cuckoos, or actually it's saying here like the kokila, who eat the buds of the mango tree of love of Godhead. And sometimes that kokila is translated as cuckoo, but we don't have any real idea what is a cuckoo. We only know cuckoo clocks. But the kokila sings very beautifully, and is Amagiya Gyani Aswadaye Shuska Gyan Krishna Premamrita Pan Gore Bhagyavan. Ramananda Roy concluded the unfortunate empiric philosophers taste the dry process of philosophical knowledge, whereas the devotees regularly drink the nectar of love of Krishna. Therefore, they are the most fortunate of all. So these are questions and answers going on between Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy. And they're going back and forth with question, answer. And I like to maintain a little bit the rhythm of that question and answer, but at the same time, these questions are very unique. It's not like, for instance, where Mahaprabhu says one should always meditate upon the holy name of Krishna, etc. We're not actually performing meditation as such. We're not sitting down like a yogi, etc. That's not what is meant here by meditation. This means like your constant absorption of your consciousness should be in the Lord, His holy name, guna, rupa, lila, like His divine qualities, His name, His form. This should be Nam, Guna, Rupa, Lila. Those are the four things here mentioned. Rupa mentioned Nam, Guna, Lila, I believe. But this is our objects of, these are what we're always supposed to be absorbed in thinking. And then when it says, for instance, what will happen to those persons who, what is it? The destination of those who desire liberation, they'll get bodies of trees, and those who are absorbed in sense enjoyment, they'll attain the bodies of demigods. So one normal person might hear, well, what's so wrong with obtaining the body of a demigod? But for the devotees, we don't want to lose our relationship with the Lord in devotional service. We're not interested in the body of a demigod for enjoyment. And this is being very, intimate conversation between Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy. Those who are degraded by sense enjoyment, they're not necessarily going to get the bodies of demigods. They'll get the results of their karma, and they can get any kind of body. Just like we hear about even an exalted personality like Bharat Maharaj. It's like absorbed in thinking of some baby deer which he's taking care of, and like that, he gets the body of an animal. What?
It was said that Prabhupada told us that you could have a body of a pigeon because a pigeon has sex 56 times a day.
Yeah, we hear many times. So Mahaprabhu is this. You can say this conversation is on a very high philosophical level, or devotional level, is better said, high devotional level between Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy. So I can hear the answers to Mahaprabhu's questions, but this is going on between, I would say these things are not understood by everyone, how the answers are coming, but you can understand. like for instance, Mahaprabhu says, he uses the word duk, he says, which can mean unhappiness, sukha dukkha, happiness and unhappiness. But Mahaprabhu says, what's the greatest unhappiness? You could say pain also, but what is the greatest unhappiness? Ramananda Roy says, apart from separation from the devotees, I know of no unbearable happiness. So this, you can understand by these answers, who is the greatest capitalist? Who is the richest man? Dani. Who's the richest man? One who has love for Shri Radha and Krishna like this. So it's a very, very high philosophical conversation. Ramananda Roy concluded, the unfortunate empiric philosophers taste the dry process of philosophical knowledge, whereas the devotees regularly drink the nectar of love of Krishna. Therefore, they are the most fortunate of all. Imata Duijan, Krishna Kata Rase, Nritya Gita, Rodane, Hoila Ratri Seshe. This way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy passed the whole night relishing the mellows of Krishna Kata, topics about Krishna. While they were chanting, dancing, and crying, the night ended. Dohe nija nija karye jalila vihane sandhyakale rai ashe milila aradine. The next morning they both departed to perform their respective duties, but in the evening Ramananda Roy returned to meet the Lord again. Ishtagoshti Krishnakata kahe katakan Prabhupada Dorirai Koreni Vedan. That evening, after discussing the topics of Krishna for some time, Ramananda Roy caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord and spoke as follows. So this is what is Ishtagoshti. Ishtagoshti is concerning the topics of Krishna. This is discussion about the Lord, not just, sometimes we think Ishtagoshtis are just to discuss all the maintenance of the temple, but that's not really Ishtagoshtis per se. Ishtagoshti is a discussion about the topics of the Lord. So that if we have a discussion about the temple, it should be in that form, centered upon the Lord and His service. Krishna Tattva, Radha Tattva, Prema Tattva Sar, Rasa Tattva, Lila Tattva, Vivida Prakar. There's a variety of truths. There is a variety of transcendental truths. The truth about Krishna, the truth about Radharani, the truth about their loving affairs, the truth about transcendental humors. And here, transcendental humors is Rasa Tattva. That is transcendental humors, about the truth about Rasa, and the truth about the Lord's pastimes. Ekatattva morachite korile prakashan brahmake bedajena paraila narayan. You have manifested all these transcendental truths in my heart. This is exactly the way Narayan educated Lord Brahma. Ramananda Roy caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord and spoke as follows. There is a variety of transcendental truths, the truth about Krishna, the truth about Radharani, the truth about their loving affairs, the truth about divine rasa, the truth about the Lord's pastimes. Ekatattva morachite korile prakashan brahmake vedajena paraila narayan. You have, Ramananda Roy is saying, you have manifested all these transcendental truths in my heart. This is exactly the way Narayan educated Lord Brahma. Antarjami Ishwarer e riti hoye bahirena kohe bastu prakashe hridoye. Ramananda Roy continued, the super soul within everyone's heart speaks not externally but from within. He instructs the devotee in all respects, and that is his way of instruction. Okay. The Supersoul within everyone's heart speaks not externally, but from within. He instructs the devotee in all respects, and that is his way of instruction. Janmadhyashayaton vayat itaratas chartish vagbhigya swarat tene brahmaridaya adhikavaye muyanti yat suraya tejo varimridam yata vinimayo yatra trisargom risha damna svena sada nirasta guhakam satyam param dhimai. This is the first verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes, of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahma, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. We could say this is a mirage. Only because of him do the material. So it is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahma, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Eksam shaya mora achaye hridaye kripa kore kaham more tahara nischaye. Ramananda Roy then said that he had but one doubt within his heart, and he petitioned the Lord, please be merciful upon me and just remove my doubt. Pahila dekilun tomar sanyasi swarup ebe toma deki mui shamagopa rup. Ramananda Roy then told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at first I saw you appear like a sannyasi, but now I am seeing you as Sham Sundar, the cowherd boy. Tomara samuke deki kanchana panchalika tara gora kanche tomar sarva angadaka. I now see you appearing like a golden doll, and your entire body appears covered by a golden luster. Tahate prakata dekun sa bamshibadan nanababe chanchalatahe kamalanayan. I see that you are holding a flute to your mouth and your lotus eyes are moving very restlessly due to various ecstasies. Emata tomadeki hoy chamatkar akapate kaha prabhu karana ihar. I actually see you in this way, and this is very wonderful. My Lord, please tell me without duplicity what is causing this. Prabhu kohe Krishna tomar gata prima hoy primara swabhava e janiya nischoy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, you have a deep love for Krishna, and one who has such deep ecstatic love for the Lord actually sees things in such a way. Please take this from me to be certain. Mahabhagavata deke stavara jangama tahan hoy tara Sri Krishna swaran. A devotee advanced on the spiritual platform sees everything movable and inert as the Supreme Lord. For him, everything he sees here and there is but a manifestation of Lord Krishna. Stavara Jangama Deke Na Deke Taramurti Sarabhatra Hoy Nija Ishtadeva Swurti. The Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashyad Bhagavad Bhavamatmana Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani Esha Bhagavatotama. Mahaprabhu continued, a person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of souls, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Lord as the cause of all causes and understands that all things are situated in him. Banalatas Tarava Atmani Vishnum Vyajayantya Eva Pushpa Faladaya Faladya Vanalatas Tarava Atmani Vishnum Vyajayantya Eva Pushpa Faladya Pranata Bara Vitapa Madhudara Premarishta Tanavo Vabrishusma. The plants, creepers, and trees were full of fruits and flowers due to ecstatic love of Krishna. Indeed, being so full, they were bowing down. They were inspired by such deep love for Krishna that they were constantly pouring showers of honey. In this way, the gopis saw all the forest of Vrindavan. Radha Krishna Tomar Maha Prema Hoy Jahan Tahan Radha Krishna Tomare Svaroy. Mahaprabhu continued, my dear Roy, you are an advanced devotee and are always filled with ecstatic love for Radha and Krishna. Therefore, whatever you see anywhere and everywhere simply awakens your Krishna consciousness. It says, you have such great love for Krishna that anywhere and everywhere you look, you always see Shri Radha and Krishna. Here it says, simply awakens your Krishna consciousness. But here in the Sanskrit it says that actually everywhere you look, Jahan Tahan Radha Krishna Tomare Swarai. Tahan, Jahan Tahan, anywhere and everywhere. Radha Krishna Tomare Swarai. Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani Tomari unto you Swarai appear. You will see Radha and Krishna. So, one thing I will say that some things are translated for the Western audience, to be honest. So, because Prabhupada wants to impart a certain line of preaching to people. And then some things may be sometimes modified by his editors. But Prabhupada wants to say, rather than see everywhere you look, you will see Radha and Krishna. He wants to say, you will see things in terms of your Krishna consciousness. Because he doesn't want a lot of young persons imagining that they're seeing Radha and Krishna everywhere. You know, sometimes people take things out of context. Rai ko he Prabhu to me charav bari buri mora age nijarup na koriya churi. Ramananda Raya replied, my dear Lord, please give up all these talks. Please do not conceal your real form from me. And also, of course, Mahaprabhu is speaking philosophically because Ramananda Raya has, we could say, pegged it. He has said to Mahaprabhu, first I saw you as a sannyasi, then I saw you as Shyamsundar. Now I'm seeing you as a golden doll and your eyes are moving restlessly, and things like this. But so in other words, he can understand Mahaprabhu's real identity, and that will be revealed. But But Mahaprabhu doesn't want to say, yes, you see me as I am. He says, no, you're such an advanced devotee that anywhere you look, you will always, this is the nature of a Mahabhagavata. So then we're going to hear what is Ramananda's Roy replies. Ramananda Roy replied, my dear Lord, please give up all these, here it mentions the word, bari buri. These, don't speak in this way. Please do not conceal your real form from me. Radhikara Baba Kanti Koryangikar Nijarasa Swadite Koryacha Avatar. Ramananda Roy continued, my dear Lord, I can understand that you have assumed the ecstasy and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. By accepting this, you are tasting your own personal transcendental humor and have therefore appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says that those words are coming directly from Ramananda Roy's mouth. Ramananda Roy continued, my Lord, I can understand that you have assumed the ecstasy and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. You've assumed her Bhavakanti. He says, Radhikara Bhavakanti Koryangikar. He says directly, I can understand who you are, Ramananda Roy says. You have assumed the mood and the kanti, the bodily complexion, it says, or the luster of Srimati Radharani. We'll say heart and halo. Nijarasha Swadite Koryacha Avatar. By accepting this, you are tasting your own personal transcendental humor, your own rasa. You're tasting your own rasa and have therefore appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radharani is tasting that rasa, your own rasa. You've taken Radharani's sentiments and you're tasting your own rasa. Nija Guda, Karyatomar Prema Ashwadan, Anusange Prema Moy, Koile Tribhuvan. My dear Lord, you have descended in this incarnation of Lord Chaitanya for your own personal reasons. You have come to taste your own spiritual bliss, and at the same time, you are transforming the whole world by spreading the ecstasy of love of God. Apane aile more korite udar ebe kapata kora tomara kon vyavahar. My dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, you have appeared before me to grant me liberation. Now you're playing in a duplicitous way. What is the reason for this behavior? Tabi hase tare prabhu dekaila swarup rasaraj mahabhava duyeka rup. Sri Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. He's rasaraj. And Srimati Radharani is the personification of ecstatic love of Godhead, Mahabhava. These two forms had combined as one in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This being the case, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his real form to Ramananda Roy. Deke Ramananda Hoila, Anande Murchite, Darite Napare Deho, Parila Bhumite. Upon seeing this form, Ramananda Roy lost consciousness in transcendental bliss. Unable to remain standing, he fell to the ground. Prabhutare hastasparshi korela chetan sanyasira beshadeki bishmita hoilaman. When Ramananda Roy fell to the ground unconscious, Mahaprabhu touched his hand and he immediately regained consciousness. But when he saw Mahaprabhu in the dress of a sannyasi, he was struck with wonder. Alingana kore Prabhu koila ashrasan Toma Bina E Rupa Nadeke Anyajan. After embracing Ramananda Roy, the Lord pacified him, informing him, but for you, no one has ever seen this form. But for you, no one has ever seen this form. Okay. Mora Tattva Lila Rasa Tomara Gochare Ateva E Rupa Dekilun Tomare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, all the truths about my pastimes and my lila, my rasa, all the pastimes, all the truths about my pastimes and mellows are within your knowledge. Therefore, I have shown this form to you. Goranga Nahimora Radhanga Sparshan Gopendra Sutabina Teho Nasparshe Anyajan. Actually, my body does not have a fair complexion. It only appears so because it has touched the body of Srimati Radharani. However, she does not touch anyone but the son of Nanda Maharaj. Darabhabe Babita Kori Atmaman Tabinija Madhurya Kori Ashvadan. I have now converted my body and mind into the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani. And thus I am tasting my own personal sweetness in that form. Tomarataya Mara Kichu Gupta Nahi Karma Lugaile Prema Bole Jana Sarva Marma. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then admitted to his pure devotee Ramananda Raya, now there is no confidential activity unknown to you. Even though I try to conceal my activities, you can understand everything in detail by virtue of your advanced love for me. Gupte Radhika Kahana Korea Prakash Amara Batula Cheshta Loke Upahas. The Lord then requested Ramananda Raya, keep all these talks a secret. Please do not expose them anywhere and everywhere, since my activities appear to be like those of a madman. People may take them lightly and laugh. Ami ek batula tumi dvitiya batula ateva tomai amai hoi samatula. Mahaprabhu then said, indeed I am a madman and you are a madman. Therefore, we are in the same platform. Mahaprabhu also says this to Sanatana Goswami. When Sanatana Goswami and him are discussing the opulences of Krishna and other things, Mahaprabhu says to Sanatana Goswami, I wanted to talk about something else, but I wound up talking about this and how this has happened. He says, I believe the same words. He says, Ameyek batula tumi dvitiya batula. You're a madman and I'm a madman, therefore I'm speaking like this. Mahaprabhu then said, indeed I am a madman and you are a madman, therefore we are in the same platform. Erupa Dasharatri Ramananda Sange Suke Gonaila Prabhu Krishna Kata Range. For 10 nights, Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya spent a happy time discussing the pastimes of Krishna. Niguda Brajara Rasa Lila Rabichar Aneka Kohila Tara Napaila Par. The conversations between Ramananda Raya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contain the most confidential subject matters touching on the conjugal love between Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, Brajabhumi. Although they talked at great length about these pastimes, they could not reach the limit of discussion. Tomakancha Rupa Shona Ratna Chintamani Keho Jari Kahan Pota Pai Ekani. Actually, these conversations are like a great mine where from a single place one can extract all kinds of metals, copper, bell metal, silver, and gold, and also touchstone, the basis of all metals. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the conversations between Ramananda Raya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramananda Raya replied to 5 questions of Mahaprabhu, and these questions and their replies are recorded in verses 57 through 67. The first answer is compared to copper, the second to a better metal, bell metal, and third to a still better metal, silver, and the fourth to the best metal of all, gold. But the fifth answer is compared to the most valuable gem, touchstone, because it deals with unalloyed devotion, the ultimate goal of devotional love, and illuminates the preceding 4 subordinate answers. So we read the questions between Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya, and I'm not going to repeat those questions. We just read them, but they're talking about this gradation. Gradation means they're going just like we see in Srila Guru Maharaj's Prapana Jivanamrita. There is gradation in each chapter, going from one level of understanding up to the highest level of understanding. So that is what's happening in the questions between Mahaprabhu. One can go back and read those questions in this, appreciating this gradation. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that in Brajabhumi there is the Jamuna River with its sandy banks. There are Kadamba trees, cows, Krishna's sticks with which he herds cows, and Krishna's flute. All of these belong to Shantaras, the mellow neutrality and devotional service. They're also the direct servants of Krishna, such as Chitraka, Patraka, and Raktak. And these are the embodiments of service in the mellow of servitude. There are also friends like Sridham and Sudama who embody service and fraternity. Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda are the embodiments of parental love. Above all of these are Srimati Radharani and her assistants, the gopis Lalita, Vishaka, and others who embody conjugal love. In this way, all five mellows, Shanta, Dasha, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, exist eternally in Brajabhumi. They are also compared, respectively, to copper, bell metal, silver, gold, and touchstone. In other words, there's a gradation, with conjugal love being the highest rasa, and touchstone the basis of all metals. Srila Kaviraj Goswami therefore refers to a mind eternally existing in Vrindavan, Brajabhumi. Krami utaite seho utama vastupai aiche prashnotara koila Prabhu Ramarai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya worked like miners, excavating all kinds of valuable metals, each one better than the other. Their questions and answers are exactly like that. Aradin Rai Pashe Vidai Magila Vidajara Kaletare E Agyadila. The next day, Mahaprabhu begged Ramananda Raya to give him permission to leave, and at the time of farewell, the Lord gave him the following orders. Vishaya Chadiya Tumi Jaha Nilachale Amitirta Kori Taha Asiba Alpakale. Mahaprabhu told him, give up all material engagements, give up all your engagements, and come to Jagannath Puri. I will return there very soon after finishing my tour and pilgrimage. Duijane Nilachale Rohiba Eksange Suke Gonaiba Kala Krishna Kata Range. The two of us shall remain together at Jagannath Puri and happily pass our time discussing Krishna. Etaboli Ramanande Korea Lingan Tarigare Pataya Korela Shayan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Sri Ramananda Raya, and after sending him back to his home, the Lord took rest. Pratakali Utte Prabhu Deke Hanuman Tare Namaskori Prabhu Dakine Korila Prayan. After rising from bed the next morning, Mahaprabhu visited the local temple where there was a deity of Hanuman. After offering him obeisances, the Lord departed for South India. Vidyapure Nanamata Loka Vaishejat Prabhu Darshane Vaishnava Hoila Chadini Jamat. All the residents of Vidyanagar were of different faiths, but after seeing Mahaprabhu, they abandoned their own faith and all became Vaishnavas. Ramananda Hoila Prabhur Vira He Viva Prabhura Dhyane Rohe Vishaya Chadiya Sakao. When Ramananda Raya began to feel separation from Mahaprabhu, he was overwhelmed. Meditating on the Lord, he gave up all his material business. Sankepi Kohilun Ramananda Milan Vistare Varnite Nare Sahasrabaran. I have briefly described the meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya. No one can actually describe this meeting exhaustively. It is even impossible for Lord Sesha Naga, who has thousands of hoods. Sahajay Chaitanya Charitra Ganadugdapur Ramananda Charitrata Hikanda Prachur. The activities of Mahaprabhu are like condensed milk, and the activities of Ramananda Raya are like large quantities of sugar candy. Radha Krishna Lila Tate Karpura Milan Bhagavan Jay Se Kori Ashwadan. Their meeting is exactly like a mixture of condensed milk and sugar candy. When they talk of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, camphor is added. One who tastes this combined preparation is most fortunate. Jai Iha Ekbar Piye Karna Dware Tarakarna Lobe Iha Charite Na Pare. This wonderful preparation has to be taken orally through the ears. If one takes it, he becomes greedy to relish it even further. Rasa Tattva Jnana Hoy Ihara Shabane Prima Bhakti Hoy Radha Krishna Charane. By hearing the talks between Ramananda Raya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one becomes enlightened with the transcendental knowledge of the mellows of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Thus one can develop unalloyed love for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Guda Tattva Jani Ea Hoite Vishvasa Kori Shuna Tarka Nakoria Chite. The author requests every reader to hear these talks with faith and without argument. By studying them in this way, one will be able to understand the confidential truths of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Alokika Lila E Paramani Guda Vishvase Paye Tarke Hoy Bahudura. This part of Mahaprabhu's pastimes is most confidential. One can derive benefit quickly only by faith. Otherwise, by arguing, one will always remain far away. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Charan Jahara Sarvasvatare Mile Edan. One who has accepted everything, the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu can attain this transcendental treasure. Ramananda Raya Mora Kote Namaskar Jaramukhe Koila Prabhu Rasa Ravistar. I offer 10 million obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Ramananda Raya, because from his mouth much spiritual information has been expanded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Damodara Swaruper Karacha Anusare Ramananda Milana Lila Korila Prachare. I have tried to preach the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's meeting with Ramananda Raya in accordance with the notebooks of Sri Swarup Damodar. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila chapter, describing the talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya. Hare Hare Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Hare Hare Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Gopal Govinda Ram Shimadu Sudana. Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohana. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Garadara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Brinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jai Te Vignana Shabi Sapuran H.I. Gosai Jar Muitaradas Tastabar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame More Abilan H.I. Gosai Jabe Raja Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Brindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narotamodas Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyasta Tarasada Shri Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyasta Tarasada Shri Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakha Kshira Dev Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Bharga ki jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Premsiko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad ki jai. Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shri Navadip Dham ki jai. Shri Ram Mayapur ki jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Koladvip ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Brinda ki jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shishi Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sripad Bhakti Bandava Puri Maharaj ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Maharaj.
Ah.